This is a government trying to clear the decks for an election late this year or early next, but it's in deep strife because we all remember Labor's central campaign promise at the last election.
We will put in place mechanisms that provide cost of living relief.
Under Labor, you'll have a government which cares about cost of living and has plans to deal with it.
I'll build people's living standards up. A better future with real plans to address the cost of living.
And to ease the pressure that too many Australians are feeling during this full-blown cost of living crisis.
Taking pressure off the cost of living. Of addressing cost of living issues to take pressure off living standards. Meaningful help with your cost of living.
Labor proposing a whopping $214,000 pay rise for the new Governor-General, Sam Mostyn, who is a mate of Albanese's.
In order to continue to put that downward pressure on inflation.
Who is a mate of Albanese's.
The politicians are getting a pay rise.
A great example of us providing cost of living relief.
Yeah, analysis of the CPI figures shows that many of the areas driving inflation are parts of the economy where the hand of government is strongest. There's fuel prices and tobacco where government taxes are high, and there's rents where the housing crisis kicks in, and there's electricity prices where the rush to renewables is forcing prices ever upwards.
Reach for the stars. The fact is that inflation is lower than what we inherited.
And he blames everyone else but himself.
The fact is that the measures that we have put in place
Pay rise.
that have put downward pressure on inflation, such as energy price relief, have had a substantial impact.
Eating out of bins.
Please be thankful. The crumbs taste lovely.
Our homeless numbers are up 23%.
On helping to drive down that inflation.
And you, the Australian people, you're led to the slaughter like blind sheep and you don't know what the hell is happening. I wish people would understand, because you don't understand the impact it's going to have on us and future generations. And the housing is a big issue.
Now, on the contrary, experts tell us that spending from state and federal governments has been fueling inflation.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
And the worry is that new spending kicking in from next week, fuel rebates and the likes, could also be inflationary. Still, the Prime Minister found ways to downplay the problem, or at least pass the buck.
This is what the RBA Governor had to say. She said this.
Pay rise.
Is a very similar experience. She went on to say, if you look at core inflation and services inflation, in particular overseas, the experience there is very similar to here.
Pay rise.
Yeah, it's global factors, apparently, which, of course, is another way of saying this. Somehow I don't think that line is going to work in an election campaign. When you promise to beat inflation, you promise to force down interest rates and promise to lower the cost of living, it's best not to make things worse.
This Prime Minister that we have, I am so frustrated with him, as the majority of Australians are. He is weak, he is gutless, and I hope that people see common sense in this and vote for One Nation to be the true government.